all. I didn't know it was going to mute me as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start off with our invocation as usual. And so, Jan, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you if you can get us started, please.
Okay. Let's pray. Gracious Lord, we thank you that you have called us together this day, and we thank you that you have given us the means to be together even when we are physically apart. And Lord, I pray you guide our thoughts, guide our fellowship, be with us all. And Lord, help us to keep our minds on serving you, serving our community in the spirit of Rotary through this very challenging time. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Justin, will you please lead us in the pledge, sir, once I get over to our...
I will, and as a matter of process, we might be allowed to stay seated.
Yeah, let's do that. We definitely want to make sure everybody's wearing pants, so let's start with the pledge seated. Go ahead, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag
of
the United States of
America,
to
to
the
republic,
and one nation,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good enough, good enough.
That was interesting.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. We don't have Ricky here, so Brooke is the first on my screen, so we're going to let her lead us in our Rotary song.
Lucky Brooke.
I put it up there on the screen if you need it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea.
From
north,
south,
to east,
to
west, one cross is supposed to serve. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that's Rotary.
That was terrible.
So if anything else, this will be a great blooper. So, gotten that out of the way, we'll know we don't need to add that portion in. We are suspending our scholarship raffles temporarily. We've been working on some ways to facilitate that, and it actually is a very good moneymaker for our club with respect to our scholarships. So we are looking at a way, if this continues on and we have to continue to meet virtually, we want to look at some ways that we can do something new, but still be able to raise that money. So that's one thing that we have on the agenda to talk about. We do have a Rotary birthday. Today is April 11th is Brenda Ballard's birthday. So if you send her a message on social media or send her an email. She wasn't able to attend today. She had some work fires she had to put out. And then we have some Rotary anniversaries, quite a few actually. So Brad Womack is going to be celebrating 12 years. So congratulations. Claudia Trevino is 7 years. Brooke Spitzer, 2 years. Janine Reyes, 2 years. And Jadine Craig is 5 years. So congratulations to all of them. Very, very excited. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We have our reading of our new members. So we had 3 that were proposed a couple of weeks ago, which we have started the process on. Mark McLaughlin was proposed by Janine Reyes. Uche Echioso, I hope I got that right, proposed by Cynthia Martin, and Felicia King was proposed by Ideltha Battle. I've already reached out to Uche and Mark's previous clubs and didn't have anything but great things to say, so I don't have any reservations for them. They are Rotarians just transferring clubs. If anybody has a reason to believe that any of these people would not make good Rotarians, you can see me or message me or any other board member, and we'll be happy to discuss that. So given that, I'm going to go ahead and give Debbie Brandstetter the floor. She's going to be talking to us about our four-way test plans. We are going to be moving forward those, and it's going to be a virtual platform. She's going to tell you about how we're going to do that and what the plans are and what the dates are for those upcoming events.
Okay, hello everybody. Good to see everybody on Tuesdays again. Okay, so yes, as Ruth mentioned, we are moving ahead with our four-way test speech contest. And we're following what the district has set out, which is using this platform, the Zoom platform, to have the students present live to us. It's not quite the same as being there, but it's close. So we've got a timeline together. The applications, all the information has already been resent to the school counselors, the ones we had sent to before. I know that there's a couple of schools that have already got that information out into the hands of the students. So I really have no idea, how many students we will have. I know they've got a lot on their plate at the moment. So we'll see how it works, and whatever we get, and we'll call it a successful plan B. So right now our timeline is on the 13th. The apps are due to me so that I can compile everybody's information. Excuse me. The judges' orientation to Zoom and how we're going to work the contest will be on the 14th. On the 15th will be a student orientation so that they can get a feel for how it's going to work as well and not have any surprises, hopefully on Thursday the 16th when we have our contest. So these will happen in the evening around 5:30. And I do need judges, by the way. I still need a couple more. So anybody that's interested in joining me in this platform and helping with the judging, please, we could definitely use your help on this.
Deb, how many judges would you like total?
It says I need 3, so I can have. I'm thinking 3 or 4. So that's usually a good number. And if I have 4 and someone can't make it for some reason, then I still have my 3 that I need. So.
And currently we have 2.
Currently we have 2, Jan and Jadine, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so they're still on there. Good. Anybody else, let me know, and then we'll get that information sent out to you about the judges' orientation and about the actual contest on the 16th as well. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Debbie. Does anybody have any questions for her?
And so, Deb, before I forget, as of yesterday afternoon, we are still supposed to have our district four-way planning thing this afternoon.
Okay.
Those invitations have not yet gone out. When they do, I will forward it on to you so that you can join us in there, and that will be helpful to us and to them and to y'all. And so I'll let you know as soon as that happens.
Okay. Okay.
So
Great, Justin. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, and if y'all have any questions, feel free to give me an email. I think my cell phone number's in there too, so yeah, you can text me as well or call me, and yeah, we will have a successful no matter what. And my husband's going to work, so yeah.
So Deb, I guess for those that don't know, who is eligible for this student contest?
I'm sorry, who is eligible? Is that what you asked me?
Yeah, so who is eligible for the student contest for those that don't know? If they have a child that might want to participate, how does that happen?
Good question. A high school age student enrolled in a local public or homeschool high school, we'd like to give preference to upper grades since they may not have as many chances to participate as maybe a freshman would. But it's not restricted by grade. Originally, we had set this up for the counselors in the schools to determine which 2 students from each high school would participate. That might have gone out the window with a couple of emails that I've seen go out to the students that have my information on it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get all the student stuff now, but that's okay. We'll work through that. Anyway, so that's where we're at right now. You just have to be a high school student enrolled, in a local high school. And if you're, one other thing, that if you are a club winner, you're still eligible to compete again. However, if you've won at the district level, you are not. So, but we don't have any district winners that have competed before. So any students in the area are eligible to compete with us. Okay.
Right.
And if anybody has any, does have a student that they know of that's interested and they don't have the information, go ahead and email me or text me and I can get that sent out. I'm laughing at a cat butt. What is cat butt? Everything.
Yeah, pets have joined Rotary. We have a dog and a cat being proposed at this point.
There we go.
Isn't that the Zoom bombing that we were worried about?
Yeah. Silly kitty. Okay.
Thank you, Deb, for all the work that you've done on that.
Sure.
We appreciate it, and we really look forward to hearing from our students soon.
Yep.
If y'all want to become a judge, let Debbie know, and we'll make sure to send you an invite for that judge's orientation to show you how we're going to do this with the virtual platform. Okay, let's go on to our district updates. Justin, will you kind of update us on what's going on at the district level and what we can expect in the upcoming weeks?
Yes, thank you, Ruth. And so just to let everybody know, so obviously the district conference, well, everything shut down. Everybody knows that. And so one of those casualties of war was our annual district conference. And so part of that was going to be at the Omni in Corpus Christi. There was also a kind of a kids and family night dinner at the Texas State Aquarium. And of course, that was also going to be the district 4-way test contest and, with some business meetings and all that kind of stuff. And so all that got canceled or rather postponed. And so what we are doing instead, we are still hard at work on being able to put this together. So what we're going to do instead is the entire month of May is actually our district conference month. And so that first weekend is something like the 2nd. That will be the district 4-way test student contest. And then I don't have the full schedule in front of me, but the other Saturdays, that's going to be our a storytelling day where individuals can tell their Rotary story, clubs can tell their club Rotary story, why they got in, why they stuck around, that kind of the storytelling part of our district conference. We're going to have another Saturday where we have our district or our business meeting. We have some resolutions to go over. There's also going to be a potential virtual service project and all sorts of stuff. And we'll get those dates hammered out and get those disseminated throughout the district. But just to let you know, it's not actually canceled. It's just changed a little bit. And so we at the district level are definitely working hard to bring that to everybody. And so we can still, as we're coming together today virtually, we're going to do the exact same thing at the district level and still be able to come together and celebrate the Rotary year. Anybody have any questions about district things? You can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. But the gist is we are still doing district things and we're still going to come together. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you. Any other questions about that? As all of you have also heard, our international convention was canceled, and I know you covered that. I know that some of you had plans to attend that. Were you able to, are they refunding those fees? Are you able to recoup for your travel? What's going on with that, guys?
I can answer that if you want me to. Justin, good strain. Yeah, that was good. I just got an email from them. A lot of the outside activities that were hosted by the actual host committee, the clubs that were putting things on individually, they're working through getting our money back. I just got something from Rotary International that gave me a choice of either donating all that back or getting a full
Refund.
full refund. Thank you. I went ahead and donated it. That should be Paul Harris number 3 or something. But they gave us a choice, and so they're working on that pretty quick.
Okay, great.
We didn't all donate those back.
But
That's okay too.
Yeah, and I got all these damn shirts. I don't know. I'm gonna have to be the shirt guy now.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Janine. She's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the city, the county, and what we should be doing to take care of ourselves and everybody else in our community. So if you want to kind of give us your Facebook update live here.
Sure. So I will tell you, there's a lot of communication going on right now between the city and the county. And of course, I work for the city. One of my side jobs, my other hat, is to do PIO, the Public Information Officer, in time emergencies. So we did that back during the June 6th storm, and I'm doing it now in this capacity, but this is a whole other ball game, as we're seeing. And it does require a lot of communication between the county and us. So I can assure everyone that is happening multiple times a day, throughout the day, all hours of the day and night. So you may or may not have seen a new City of Kingsville Facebook page. That is going to be the primary place that any critical updates are placed, along with we're working really hard together to have our information flow out at the same time and just have a unified message. So you'll also see it on the Clayburgh County Commissioner's page as well. So we're working to streamline information. The one thing I think is essential for people to know right now is there are a lot of rumors going on. And we're not the only community experiencing that, but I strongly urge all of our Rotary partners to just help us with that messaging, that we are providing information up to the minute. Really, we are. I can tell you the first notification we had of our first case, that was our first one, and it was less than 2 hours before everybody knew that we had a case. Now, the information behind that case takes a minute to sort through. We need to make sure that we're not violating anyone's federal privacy rights. But I will tell you that we've been very, very open about all of that information. And you'll find it again on both of our pages. We're also engaging the chief of police and the sheriff to send it out on their reverse 911 systems. So as anything comes out, that's going to be your first place, and that's going to be your source for information. We did have an issue last week, the days all merged together, where Channel 3 gave us a case that really wasn't our case, and there was a lot of confusion over that, and that's why it's really essential for everybody to follow the proper channels, and please don't share anything. Please don't contribute to the problem. Don't share anything that's not coming from a vetted source, because we're working really hard to counteract any of those rumors. They cause fear in our community. At this moment in time, our count is still 2. There was confusion because Channel 3 gave us a case from the kid from Austin, if you all were following, who did not get sick here, did not quarantine here, was not treated here, was not diagnosed here. So we felt from the get that wasn't our case, and we weren't going to claim it because we didn't want to confuse the community. So we have our own guidelines. Anybody that does pop positive here in our community, we will let you know. I will tell you guys, the second case, the community was notified within 10 minutes of us finding out. So we are really working on rapid notification. It may not be all the details you want. It takes us a minute, again, to sort through all of the additional information, and sometimes it's trickling in. But the moment we have a case, we have a plan in place to alert everybody right away. One of the other things I'll say is a lot of people are really pushing for more numbers and more data and more information. And I'll tell you exactly why we're not sharing it. People want to know how many tests are done. Well, testing comes from different places. So we have our COVID testing site, which is our state testing site that goes straight down. It's driven down twice a week to Region 11. As soon as those samples are taken, the end of the day, they're driven down for a more rapid response. But we also have private labs. And the private labs are some of our doctor's offices, our urgent care facilities. And in fact, our 2 positives have come from private labs. So if I were to give you a number of what we're doing out there at our regional testing site, it's really not going to give you a whole lot of insight, because it's no secret. Go look on the state site. By leaps and bounds, private labs are leading the way. In fact, our 2 positives came from the private sector. Now they're required to notify Region 11, and Region 11 then notifies us, and then we quickly notify our community. So just so y'all know how that flow of information happens. But the other thing is, if we were to start giving you numbers from our regional testing site, again, it's a regional testing site. So people from other counties and other communities can go and get tested there. So if I were to say, for example, we did 50 tests and 48 were negative, the assumption and the rumors are going to circulate that we have 2 positives. Well, there may be 2 positives from that pool, but they may not be ours. So if they belong to another community, we very strongly believe that it's not our place to say that. We need to let the other community alert their citizens. And so there are reasons behind certain information as far as those numbers that aren't being shared. But I'll tell you, even if you look at Corpus Christi, and they're starting to give more, they've got larger numbers, right? But they're starting to give a little bit more details on how many were given. Like their private tests say TBD. Like you don't know, you can't force the private sector to tell you how many have been done. They are required to tell you if there's a positive. So I just think it leaves a lot of room for misinformation and people getting confused. So that's the purpose behind that, that number not being out there. Plus it's just continuously going. So our testing site is now running just 2 days a week. That's by order of the state. That's to preserve their PPE. But the same number of people are still getting tested. It's just a very condensed time that they're testing, so that the nurses working that site aren't going through additional PPE and they can keep going. I know initially the request was to have them for 30 days. The county judges put in a request to extend that time. So we're hopeful that will happen. It was open today. 9 to 11 are the hours, but again, people can't just show up. They need to make an appointment, because now they're having to test a lot more people in a shorter amount of time. So it needs to flow through the proper way. We do have numbers. People are encouraged to first go to their healthcare provider. Again, some of those private labs may have the testing capability, so you may not even have to go out to the site if you start to feel symptoms. But there is numbers on our Facebook page, on our City of Kingsville website page, on the Clayburgh County page, to tell you where to call. Region 11 is going to be your best source. You can also call Christus von Clayburgh, but I will say everyone is very busy right now. So just like everything else, expect longer waits than you would like to see. On top of that, we are now giving a daily COVID update of the number of cases. Again, right now, that will hit at 1 o'clock on our page. Is the goal. Now realize if we get a positive at 12:45, we're going to try and update it before that 1 o'clock. So it may not, but I've got it scheduled. It's hitting at 1. The county should be doing the same thing. So we're really trying our best to keep you guys, just give you really up to the minute information. The stay-at-home orders currently for the city, it goes to the 13th, and for the county, it goes through the 20th. I know it's confusing because there's a lot of different dates. The state's going till the end of the month. The likelihood is the local ones will be extended, but that's up to each commission on how and why they're doing that. There's changes that have been made as they've revisited them. So that's probably a reason they're going, bit by bit. I wouldn't look at the 13th as the cities. I wouldn't look at that as a finish line. That's just a point where they can reevaluate the situation and move it out further. I will say, what else? Trying to think. I'm trying not to talk too much, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're doing great. Can you elaborate, if anybody hasn't seen those official orders, just kind of tell us what's in those and what?
Yes. So the stay-at-home orders, basically, they ask you to stay at home unless you're part of essential business, or unless you have essential business. And I will tell you guys that, we've all heard and seen the grocery stores and how they're they're packed with people and they're trying to prevent that problem. We get a lot of messages about the lines at HEB, and yes, I mean, please, 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 if you can avoid the stores, guys. I mean, if you watch the news regionally, you'll see we're starting to see Walmart employees and HEB employees come up positive, and that's because there's so many people going into the stores, just the sheer number of crowds. We're putting them in danger, and we're putting us in danger. HEB and Walmart have asked the city and the county, and they have complied to make it part of their order that there's only one person per household that can go shopping at a time. And that is in place now in both the city and the county. There are no age restrictions. There was a lot of rumors going around that there was an age limit on that. If that's put in place, it's going to be put in place by the stores. But I talked to HEB this morning. I talked to Walmart yesterday. They don't have an age restriction. Now, I will tell you, both of them have thought about it, because they've got, these teenagers that are using that as an outing and a place to hang out. And it's just not, I have not been. I've got my son I can send, and I've got a roommate, but I would strongly discourage anybody from going to circulate in those stores right now, because I'm going to tell you right now, that's how we're going to spread this. Everybody in and out of there. And then you're putting those partners in danger too. So that's the purpose of the one person per household. I will say that some of the stores, HEB rolled out their favor program here in a really rapid way. And it's for seniors, the fee is waived. There's a phone number for them to call and place that order, and it will be delivered in a touch-free way to their doorstep. They're saying an hour. I wouldn't bank on that, because look what's happened to curbside, right? But for the rest of us, we can pay for that service, and just download the app and order your items. It's only 25 items at a time. And just like when you go into the stores, or just like when you order curbside, there is always a chance some of your items won't be there, but you're going to face that same risk walking into the store, because it's been, very hard for them to keep their shelf stocked.
Another resource that I'd like to mention is, so the favor is for the seniors, but you can also go through the My HEB app or online My HEB, and you can do it for curbside or for home delivery, and that is at 75 items. Not that we want you to go and buy the cap amount but if you need something and you need it delivered, that's another way. And I'd like to take a second. Cynthia, I'm going to unmute you and see if you can hear us, but can you elaborate?
Real quick.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Janine.
While you're talking about favor, I did talk to HEB this morning and talk about it. It is for everybody. Anybody can use it. However, the fees are only waived for the seniors, and there's a phone number for this. So it's an option for everyone. And
Okay,
I
wonderful.
what I say.
Thank you. Cynthia, I'm going to unmute you. We had talked earlier in the week about our local businesses and all of these businesses that are providing, they're still staying open, they're cooking meals and all of these things. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Are you with us?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes, they are. And actually, some of them are having very good business right now. I think people are thinking about, do I want to go to the grocery store or just get food? Harold's is open. They have free delivery on their prescriptions, which is good. We have the bookstores open, and they have all their inventory online. We actually have probably 3 shops downtown. Of course, 2 outdoors and King Ranch Saddle Shop have inventory online, and now the Novel Blend bookstore has inventory online. So some of our stores have boosted up their social media, offering special items, and just hanging in there, but you'll see more merchandise online.
Thank you, Cynthia. Please, everyone, be conscientious of your purchasing power and make sure that you're supporting our local stores and our local restaurants. Janine, go ahead. You have something to add?
I was going to add to that. We, the Kingsville Visitor Center, switching hats, we've teamed up with the Kingsville Chamber of Commerce, and we are doing a program every week called #Dine Out at Home. So if you order from any of our small restaurants, these guys that had to jump through hoops to be able to safely serve you, we're encouraging people to share that on our page, the Kingsville Visitor Center. And once a week, we are doing a drawing. It includes a $50 gift card, which can be put back into the economy, back into these small businesses. Some Kingsville goodies. We've got our boot mug and our caps, but we also have hand sanitizers we're giving away. They're the spray, 62% alcohol that we had ordered for the air show, and we're repurposing that to really try and encourage people to go and visit our local businesses who are going to need us to get through this. So Kingsville Visitor Center, hashtag Dine Out at Home. We ask that you tag the restaurant you're ordering from. There is a full list on our page and on the Chamber's page of who's open and what service they're providing. So we really encourage everybody to try and help support our local businesses through this.
And what is the best way for people to order? I know there's a lot of apps out there. There's Favor, there's Food Caddy, and GoDash, and DoorDash, and anything and everything. What is the best way? What is the most economically supportive for our local businesses?
It's just some of them are providing delivery, but they have limits on what you can order. Some of them have just kind of a touch-free pickup or carry out. I mean, that list will tell you what's an option. I would suggest calling them directly, like who's working with them best if you want it just delivered. But a lot of them are, they're all offering drive-through or carry out, but their full list of all the options they have, their phone numbers, everything. And that's on our page and it's on the Chamber page. So Kingsville Visitor Center or Kingsville Chamber. And I would touch base with the particular business directly. A lot of them have started rolling out, like you can go purchase a full dinner for your family and repurpose it for another day's lunch. A lot of them are doing bundles. They're doing bundles of, their things they're getting from their vendors. They'll have some fruits in there, some beans, like so that you can cook for your whole family. But I really think they've gone the extra mile to make a safe alternative to going into those grocery stores. We've heard it these next 2 weeks are going to be critical to avoid those stores. And really, when you think about it, it's not just for us and our family's safety, which of course is important, but the more people that are in those stores, the more that we're putting those partners at risk, those essential workers who are sacrificing to work for us. So I say, if you've got the funds or the availability, right now's the time to order from your local restaurants who have taken extra measures to make this available for you.
I agree. And I have seen some of these restaurants are doing these coronavirus packages. Braze is throwing in a free roll of toilet paper as it lasts with your order. So if you can't find toilet paper anyplace else, you might look at some of those restaurants for that.
And if you do our contest, you're getting toilet paper if you win as well. We're delivering that in a touch-free way. You get hand sanitizer, you get toilet paper, you get a $50 gift card. I mean, what more do you want? So we please participate in that contest. Let your friends know it's happening. It's just a way that we can try to keep these small businesses alive because they give so much to us year round all the time. They need our help now.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Janine. I appreciate all the information. Questions?
And I would like to say the Visitor Center was also instrumental in putting together a pretty comprehensive list of local churches that are providing virtual services. And so they did a fantastic job there. So thank you, Janine, and to your department that was putting that together. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up right now to anybody. This is gonna be our Happy Dollar announcement. Just share something, information. So if you have something, just raise your hand and we'll click on you and go from there. Does anybody have any Happy Dollar or? Okay, go ahead, Justin.
It's actually a Post-it note, but so speaking of churches, just a reminder that this is Holy Week and we are upcoming on Good Friday and Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday and all that. So, now is a good time to get back to church. You can do it from your living room. So if you've been looking for an opportunity, now is a great time.
Thank you. Good job, Dan says. All right, anybody else have any? Okay, I am going, do you have one, Janine? Let me unmute you.
Too much time, but I do want to say we are feeding the people out at the testing site. We're calling it hashtag Kingsville Kindness, and so many people have stepped up to people. The nurses are from out of town. Harold's our first time. We were trying to have an entity pay to that small business to keep them going. And Harold called me and said, no way, you're not paying for this, let the next person pay for it. So we're calling it hashtag Kingsville Kindness. There's a lot of that really going around, but Harold's, Little Oscar Cantu, Javelina Station, Clayburg Bank, Ivy's, Lydia's, Chicken Express, Old Girls, and St. Martin's Catholic Church have all contributed to feed out at the site. And the list is very, very long of people who want to continue doing that. So I think it's also a great time to just showcase our city and everything. The way we come together is amazing. So
it is. So I will I will say that Rotary has signed up on that list. Ours is April 11th. I'll be reaching out to them on Friday to just get some more information on how we need to facilitate that. One of the other items that we discussed at our board meeting was how do we prorate some of these meal charges that we had at the end of last quarter. So a lot of all of our billing is pre-billed. So you receive the bill before the quarter starts for all of your meals and all of your dues. So you've already paid for March. And so we had 3 meetings that we essentially did not eat. And so we have those funds that we collected. What we decided to do as a board is to use those funds to show thanks to some of our first responders. So one of those things was signing up to provide the COVID test site workers with lunch for that Saturday, but we're also going to use the funds from the remaining 2 meals to provide to other first responders. Now those sources haven't been identified yet where we're going to put those funds, but we're thinking, at the hospital, police departments, all of these cities and county officials who are working very hard to provide for us and make sure that we're all safe. We're going to be looking at ways to just say thank you. So instead of prorating those meals and crediting back and making Linda Hahn's life a nightmare, we thought that this might be a way just to pay it forward. So if anybody has any questions or concerns about that, you can reach out to the board. You will be receiving our next quarter billing out fairly soon. I know Linda's working on it. You will not see any charges for any of the meals for the next quarter. We'll deal with that once we kind of reassess the situation. It will just be your $45 for dues. You will see the optional, if you signed up to be a polio pledge member or to donate to every Rotarian every year, all of those charges will be seen on there, but they'll be optional. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any troubles or concerns about billing, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Linda. We're going to accommodate any requests that we can. And we're going to continue to meet as a board and take care of club business. And I'm hoping that y'all enjoyed this virtual meeting and that I think it went very well, but I'm hoping that we have even more participants next time. We have 18 this go round, so that was pretty good. And we're going to make the best of this situation, and we're going to continue to serve our community the best way that we can while keeping all of us safe. So don't hesitate to reach out to your fellow Rotarians, communicate with them often. Last time I sent y'all an email, I said, challenged you to each reach out to 3 people and to just check on them, make sure, socially they're doing okay, mentally, that they have everything they need. We have a lot of members who I know are sheltering in place. They're not leaving their homes. So if we can do anything for them, let's try and do that, I would say. So I'm going to open it up one last time. Do I have any closing remarks? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself. Danny, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
The only thing I wanted to say is on if you can hear me, is when the screensaver came up, my background, no one was more surprised than me.
I haven't even figured out how to do it, so you're already ahead of the game, whether you knew how to or not.
Well, JD moved, apparently. He's got a nice house now. So, he's always had a nice house. But
well, yeah, but a quick question, Ruth, on the feeding times, like April 11th and stuff, if you'll send me an email or something, I'll post it online for us to keep the members up.
Yes, as soon as I can validate the information, the office said they would call me, but I'll reach out to them the day before, make sure that I have the number of people at that testing facility site and all of that stuff. They'll provide it to me, and I'll send it on down to the lines. Anybody else?
I had a quick question. Actually, I had 2. One was for Ruth, which was do we have anything in place that if a family comes to us in need, that we that it is possible to reach out to Rotary for that? Is that part of our agreed mission?
So I will say that we had, I'm going to mute you for a second. Okay, so what we have done in the past is discussed an online form on our website so that people could request items such as ramps and other projects. We have not put that in place yet. I can get that up and going. I will say right now, though, things are not looking good on the bingo end. We've already gotten a letter that says, you know, don't expect funds. So we're kind of in a holding place for all of our funding. We do have enough to facilitate everything we've already committed to for our scholarships and those types of items. And we're going to continue to have student scholarships and all that virtually. So we'll have to take it as we go, but right now funds are going to be tight. Go ahead and give your second question.
The second question was actually for Janine, but you might know the answer. If a family member says, you know, I need to get tested and Krista Spahn is too busy, what would be our response? I've been telling them to go to call Stat Care or another urgent care center to follow their procedures. Would that be general consensus from what you think from the city? That's what they're looking for?
Do you want me to answer?
Yes.
Okay.
So as far as testing goes, can you all hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say for definitely the urgent care and the stat care, they have the capabilities, and obviously so does the site. I did share on my personal page the other day, just so you all are aware. I mean, we all know there's a national shortage of tests. There is. So a lot of the people who go out to the site are going to be sent home to quarantine anyway. It's not an automatic to get a test. You have to either be and have had contact with somebody who's laboratory confirmed COVID-19 or have traveled to an area that's got community spread in the last 2 weeks, or be sick enough to get a test on the state level. That's the state guidelines they set out. So by and large, and I will just say this, guys, like just as far as the numbers, I would not take any comfort in the numbers we have right now. I don't know what's going to come tomorrow, but there's a process to test and it takes some time before you can even qualify for a test. If you test someone too early, you may get a false negative, and that's another thing they're trying to prevent. So,
would you say that good advice would be if you're sick, contact your health provider, but just stay home? You know, just assume that you are COVID positive, quarantine, and contact your provider on the steps to take.
Yes, and that's what they're going to tell you out there anyway. A lot of people are going to be sent home to quarantine, and they will be followed up with every day. But the state wants to make sure before they utilize that test that you are far enough into this illness that if you are positive, it's going to come back positive. They don't want to give anybody, you know, if there is a possibility if it tests too soon, you can be negative. So you find out you're negative, you're told to quarantine, but you figure, well, I already got my negative, I'm going to run to Walmart. Then there's a problem with everybody else who's at Walmart that day. So it's, you know, people have come out with stories that they didn't get their test. It's not that they're not going to get one. There's a certain protocol that the state follows to monitor to make sure they're not getting false negatives as well. So it's not up to me or you. If I start feeling sick and say I want a test, I can't go there and tomorrow get a test. It's up to the medical professionals who are looking at a number of factors, timelines, how many tests are available. We are getting more tests coming out constantly, coming to our area. But so the test isn't immediate, but it always is a fact that if you believe you have the symptoms and you've been around somebody, they will always ask you to quarantine until you can get to that test anyway. And those orders need to be followed very closely, just for everybody's safety.
Thank you, Janine. Any other questions? Okay, we went a little over on time by 6 minutes. This is virtual time, so we're not going to count it against ourselves.
But, about to go back to work or something?
Exactly. We got to go back to work. So thank you all for joining, and I'd like you to just continue to reach out to our Rotarians. I'm hoping we have some more on board next time, but it was great seeing all your faces and hearing from you, and we'll see you soon. I miss all of you. Bye.
Good meeting, Ruth. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Richard.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Cynthia.
Thank you, Ruth.
Bye.
Bye, Uche.
Bye.